Today, we're going to deconstruct something huge, a story that starts in the dusty playgrounds of villages and aims for the Olympic podium. We're diving deep into the February 2026 issue of Kurukshetra Magazine to figure out how India is building a brand new sporting future from the ground up.
So let's start right here. This image, it really captures the whole spirit of what's happening. You could almost feel that raw energy of the mud grounds, the birthplace of games like Kabaddi. This has always been the starting line. But the journey from here to a global arena? Well, that journey is no longer being left to chance. It's now a full-blown national plan.
So, what was the big change? Well, back in 2025, India made a massive pivot. Sports went from being just, a fun activity to a core driver of the nation's future. It's now seen as a tool for social change, a potential engine for the economy, and, of course, a huge source of national pride. And that strategic shift? That's what we're going to unpack.
So what's the actual playbook for this huge transformation? Well, that brings us to our first section, the new blueprint itself, the Khelo Bharat Niti of 2025.
And here it is, the Khelo Bharat Niti 2025. Now, this isn't just a minor update to the old 2001 rules. No, this is a complete overhaul. The keywords here are holistic, inclusive, and ecosystem. The whole focus has shifted from just finding a few elite athletes to actually building the entire system from the ground up. This comparison right here tells you everything you need to know. The old policy was kind of like playing the lottery, right? It focused on individuals, just hoping a champion would pop up somewhere. And yeah, it gave us some incredible moments, but it never built a reliable pipeline of talent. The new 2025 policy? It's a total game changer. It's all about building that entire ecosystem, weaving sports into education, health, and the economy. It's a move from isolated efforts to a deeply embedded national strategy.
And these 5 pillars show you just how broad that strategy is. Look, it's not just about winning medals. That's global excellence. It's also about creating jobs. That's economic development. It's about empowering women and marginalized groups, which is social empowerment. It's about getting everyone out there and playing, mass participation. And finally, making sports a real part of school. That's education integration. It really is a 360-degree vision.
Okay, so you've got this grand vision on paper, but how do you actually make it happen? That brings us to our second section, where we see how this thing is being built from the ground up. Let's talk about the grassroots revolution.
I mean, this is the fundamental challenge, isn't it? In a country with over 1 billion people, potential champions could be literally anywhere. How in the world do you find them? How do you make sure that incredible talent doesn't just get lost?
Well, according to this new blueprint, the answer starts right here, in India's villages. You see events like the Rural Olympics, and you realize the raw talent has always been there. The goal of this new policy isn't to create talent out of thin air, but to finally build a system that can find it, support it, and properly nurture it. And here's exactly how they're doing it. It's a clear 3-step pipeline. First, you've got scientific identification. A program called Kirti is using data analytics to spot potential in kids between 9 and 18. No more guesswork. Second, nurturing. A massive network of local Khelo India centers is providing coaching and facilities. And third, competition. The Khelo India Games create a real pathway for athletes to test their skills and keep climbing higher.
Over 1,000. Just let that number sink in. Over 1,000 Khelo India centers are being set up. This isn't some small pilot program. This is a massive nationwide infrastructure push. The idea is to make quality coaching and good facilities a basic right for young athletes everywhere, not just a luxury for kids in the big cities.
So why does this matter so much? It's simple, really. It's about replacing luck with a system. For decades, whether an athlete made it or not often just came down to the chance of being spotted by the right person. Now, there's a structured path. And that means a talented kid from a remote village has the same tangible shot at becoming a champion as anyone else. That is a profound, profound change.
But this revolution isn't just about finding more athletes. It's about finding athletes from every part of society. And this gets to a core belief of the new policy: inclusion.
These 2 images from the magazine just tell the story so powerfully. On one side, you see women in sport breaking through generations of barriers. And on the other, para-athletes, completely redefining what's possible. The Khelo Bharat Niti puts empowering both of these groups right at the center of its mission. There's this quote in the magazine that just nails it. It says, "Their journeys signify not only sporting success, but also profound social change." Think about it. When a woman from a rural village wins a medal,
It's not just a personal victory. It challenges social norms, it inspires a whole generation of girls, and it literally reshapes attitudes in her community. That's social change in action.
And get this number, 53,000. That is the staggering number of women athletes who took part in the ASMITA leagues. This isn't just another tournament. It is the largest women-only sports platform in India, built specifically to create a safe, competitive space for girls and women to shine.
Now, for para-athletes, the magazine is very clear about the challenges the policy has to tackle. Inclusion can't just be a slogan. It means real things. Dedicated budgets, accessible stadiums in every single district, using tech for better coaching, and finding talent early at the school level. This is the practical, on-the-ground work that turns good intentions into reality.
All right, but to compete on the world stage, you need more than just talent and willpower, right? You need a modern ecosystem. And that's where our next section comes in, technology and economics.
This is the next huge leap forward. The system is moving beyond just individual struggle and pure chance. It's being hardwired with data to spot talent, with technology for world-class training, and with a real economic strategy to finally make sports a viable, respected career path for people.
And this table here breaks down what that economic strategy really means. We are talking about actual jobs. Government quotas in places like the railways or armed forces mean stable careers. Building new stadiums creates local employment. And a whole ecosystem is springing up around manufacturing equipment and training coaches and support staff. This is creating an entirely new economic engine, especially for young people in rural areas.
And the potential here is absolutely enormous. This chart projects that the Indian sports sector could be worth $130 billion by 2030. And that growth rate, 14% a year, is huge. This is what transforms sports from a passion project into a major engine of economic growth for the whole country.
Okay, so we've seen the policy, the grassroots revolution, the focus on inclusion, and the tech and economic drivers. So in our final section, let's connect all these dots and look at the biggest picture of all, India's long-term national vision.
And this is where it all comes together. Viksit Bharat 2047. That's the vision for India as a developed nation by the time it turns 100. And in this vision, sports are no longer an afterthought. They're a core pillar, a tool to build a healthier population, to bring people together, and to spark that incredible feeling of national pride. The strategy is simple. You build a stronger nation, one playing field at a time.
Which leaves us with this final critical question. The ambition is out there, hosting the 2036 Olympics. The blueprint, as we've seen, is detailed and ambitious. A whole new ecosystem is being built piece by piece. But the journey from a plan on paper to a gold medal on a podium is a long one. Will this grand blueprint be enough to turn India into the global sporting powerhouse it wants to be? Well, I guess only time